Hi there. Today I am just going to walk you quickly through customer centricity and the introduction to your simulation that you are starting this week. First of all, I really want to talk about the key learning incomes. Why objectives? Why are we doing this and how is this going to benefit you in your learning journey? The very first thing about the simulation is that you're going to understand why and how to shift from a very product-centric business model to benefiting the bottom line to actually looking at it from a customer-centric viewpoint. You are also going to learn a little bit about how do you actually utilize like a CRM dashboard or data analytics as it relates to initiating effective customer centricity and what that looks like. The third thing that you're going to be learning is identifying the most valuable customer. So you're going to be learning that CLV and what does that look like as it relates to customer lifetime value and really trying to figure out like who is the highest value customer and how do we attract more of those individuals into the organization. And the last key learning objective is that this simulation is going to teach you and hopefully provide you better insights into the relationship between customer equity and also the overall market valuation that we have talked about in previous weeks. So this is really bringing together everything that you have learned in the last 7 weeks into this game and bringing it to life for you. So remember, just as a reminder, what is customer centricity? First of all, what it is not about putting the product first. It's about, or is it about treating all your customers the same? With customer centricity, we're focused on understanding that some customers are more valuable than the others and building a growth strategy around those customers. So that's a little bit of a key and a tidbit that I want you to walk away with, okay? Remember that when you're playing the game. So we don't want to neglect all the customers, but we need to figure out based on that, how are we going to allocate the budget and how are we going to put our resources where they need to be? So my hope is that after these 2, 3 weeks of playing this game, you're going to really better understand this relationship of highest value customer and also customer equity and identifying potential high value customers. You're going to be focused on taking action to attract these valuable customers, increasing retention and development of high customers, like how do we maximize the value of those high customers, right? And we're also going to look at this idea like what does the role of branding actually play in customer centricity? We know that branding equity is very important. Hint, hint. How does that play into a customer centric organization? Of course, you're going to be thinking about what kind of KPIs, decision metrics that you're going to be looking at. So the very first thing you need to do is when the game starts, and even before, take a look at that user guide that I have provided you in FOL and read about how to play the game. But more importantly, you're going to learn about Heart No Case the minute the game starts. This is the technology and the business that you are going to be making all your decisions on, okay? So you are going to do a deep dive into Heart No Technologies, and this company is focused on 3D printer leases, basic maker and advanced maker. They're focused in terms of industries on automotive, defense, and aerospace. So right now, you know that they are a business to business organization, right? They recently hired their CMO, who is a huge change agent and was brought into the organization to shift from product centricity to customer centricity. So there is a video for you to watch and understand the problems that Hartnell is going through. The biggest one is that their revenue is hugely below what their investors' expectations were. And they just started a new CRM, but they're not utilizing the data, nor do they know how to utilize the data to help them make better decisions. And that's where you come in. Okay. You are that CMO that is going to look at some of that data and look at it through a customer centric lens to make decisions. When you jump into the simulation, this is what your dashboard is going to look like. You're going to see quickly at the top a couple of different widgets on the left-hand side. This is going to change every single time that you go into this game. The news is going to change after every decision you make. Your dashboard, your CRM dashboard is going to change every single time. You're going to make new decisions, and there's going to be a glossary of information. So the very first thing you need to realize is that you have a budget that starts off with. Okay, right now the budget is looking like it's $1,300,000. It's a huge budget. First of all, you should be spending all of that budget. Okay, so based on below, this is what they're going to be asking you. They want you to take that budget and allocate it across a couple of different items. So you get to decide how much you want to spend on branding, how much you want to spend on internal marketing, sales, external sales, customer service, and you have this opportunity to purchase CRM reports as well as strategic spends, how much that's going to cost you. And you get to decide what that looks like. Now, you should not be making these decisions blindly, right? Like you should be going into your CRM dashboard and looking at the data that you have to make those decisions. So I really encourage you to really think about these strategic development spends and purchasing CRM reports so that you can have the data to make good decisions. They might not help you as much the very first run because you won't have access to it, but the minute you submit those decisions, you're going to be able to move that forward, okay? Now, here is a little tip. Spend all your budget. Okay, it sounds like a lot of money, $1,300,000. And a lot of times I see students tell me that they were going to spend half and just save the next for the next month until they knew what was happening. But I'll tell you why you need to spend your budget, because the game actually will, you will actually lose points if you don't. Okay, so make sure you spend all your budget. Okay, and I'll just reinforce that, spend all your budget, allocate it based on different reports, strategic spend, and all the different decisions here. You get to decide how you want to spend it, but spend it all. When you hit the icon at the top that says CRM, you're going to go into really what a dashboard would look like if you were going into Salesforce or HubSpot. There would be different iterations of this, okay? But this is a standardized dashboard that they have for you. Now, you have the opportunity to dive into that a little bit deeper. You can actually dive into the customers, the sales, and the financials. And I encourage you to really get used to and understand your CRM dashboard. It's going to help you really understand the company and better understand how you want to allocate your budgets and how you're going to shift this into a customer-centric organization. Okay, when you log into this simulation, you're going to see a video called Customer Centricity Students, How to Play the Game. Make sure you take the 5 minutes to watch that. It's going to really set you up for success. The simulation FAQs, couple things that I just want to point out and talk to you about. First is you have the opportunity to create, as I showed you on the dashboard, you have the opportunity to purchase CRM report purchases. Okay, choose them wisely is going to be my recommendation and my, kind of tidbit for you. The reason is you don't have enough in your budget to purchase all of them. Every decision you make, you're going to spend all your budget and then you're going to get new budget for the next decision, okay? Not all the reports are also worthwhile, so I recommend that you really think about the ones that are going to help you the most, okay? Second is, okay, so again, budget is a function of revenue. You have to use it or you lose it, and it does dock you in the game. So please, there is no benefit to having unspent budget. It's allowed for you, use it all. Okay, so the one thing I will say that will hinder you is if you make sure you enter the whole number. So make sure, I give you the example there, like 200,000, like make sure you give the whole number because it won't understand it if you do a short abbreviation. So you don't need to invest in a strategic decision every period because a lot of times that does go into the next period with you, okay? Remember, this is all about you understanding how to make decisions. And some of that just comes down to you doing it once or twice to get into a cadence and understand the game and understand where the game is taking you as well. Okay. So this is really important because we're going to talk a little bit about acquisition and acquiring the right customers, right? And remember, when we look at acquisition, we want to be thinking about the customer. And that's referred to as customer goodness. It's focus on retention, purchasing more values, referring others, right, to similar customers. So how do we find the right customers? To understand individualized customer goodness, the organization must gather data about their customers around these propensities. So how does that affect the game and the lens that you're looking for? So another little tip for you. Okay. The other thing I want you to think about is when you look at your sales and marketing, you're going to be asked to look at, internal sales and external sales. And I do find that sometimes this gets a little tricky and people get a little confused. So let's look at internal sales and marketing decisions. What does that mean? Okay, it means this is all focused on the investment as it relates to supporting Heart-Nose sales and marketing staff. Okay, as it relates to developing special products and programs to attract new customers. Okay, these efforts can be thought of as a more precise or using a spear, right? So think about what we were talking about in class last week. Now, the external sales and marketing, this is the investment here, is really focused on outside agencies on developing broader sales and marketing campaigns, right? So this is really important. You'll also see there is a third form of customer acquisition, which is referral. Okay, and that's where if the student chooses to invest in a sector strategic decision, which might look like something like this. So that's the difference between internal and external, and that's going to help you acquire customers. Okay, so remember this. Now, the strategic decision-making process, if you want to invest in one of these, this becomes available in period 1, right? This is where at the very bottom. You'll be able to direct budget to internal and external sales. This decision also unlocks sometimes sector-specific CRM reports, which you again need to decide to choose to purchase, right? The 3 sectors represented in the simulation are significantly different in almost every way. Okay, so during the final debrief, I'm going to be asking you about your CRM reports. I'm going to be asking you next week in class when we debrief about your first decisions, like what data are you finding powerful? How are you making that look and feel? So I want to really take the opportunity right now to remind you of other concepts that we have talked about over the last 7 weeks, right? We talked about customer goodness. We talked about heterogeneity. Like all our customers are not the same. We talked about brand awareness, value customer equity, the life cycle, retention, and CLV and customer asset value. These are all important for you to be thinking about and keeping in the back of your mind because they could also help you with the decisions you need to make in the simulation. All right, everyone, good luck making your first 4 simulation decisions this week.